Hello everybody, thanks for joining me again. Before I show you this week's video, I thought it needed a little bit of explanation. I came here to the creek a few weeks ago to try and plan a sunset shot looking across the river, and you'll see in the video how I plan the shots and what apps I use. But as sometimes happens, not everything goes to plan. And then a couple of weeks later I came down here in not the greatest of conditions for photography, but was surprised with the shots I got. And then right at the end, really unexpectedly, walking home, got some really good wildlife shots. So stick with the video, see it through to the end, and you'll be surprised. Anyway, hope you enjoy it. Hello everybody, thanks for joining me again. Well, I'm trying something a bit different this week. Those of you that follow me every week will know that usually I pick a spot or a walk and I see what photographs I can take as I'm walking around. This week I've come to Galmpton Creek, which is a short detour on my commute home from work. As you can see, it's a lovely scene, looking out across the River Dart. Boats moored up and lots of wildlife. So what I'm hoping later on in the week is for a sunset just over there, and hopefully I can get the sun going down between the bank over there and the boats moored up along the pontoon. So it's Monday evening, the clocks have just gone forward, so got plenty of time. And there's due a high tide on Thursday and a break in the weather. It's a bit misty, a bit cloudy today, even though it's very bright. And I'll try and show you how I'm going to plan the shot, and hopefully the weather plays ball and we get something later on in the week. It's always good fun just to try and plan these shots yourself with a bit of local knowledge. But if you're looking a long way forward in time, then it's quite useful to use some of the apps like Photo Pills here. And I'm just going to use the planner and look at the sun and where the sun is going to set on the day that I'm going to be there. So I'm just choosing the day and a rough time when I think the sun's going down. And then when eventually I find that and click OK, I'll look at the location on the satellite view. So there I am, standing at the end of Galmpton Creek, and on the left hand side you can see the orange line, which is where the sun is going to set. So from that location I'm just looking down the river to see if there's any obstructions. You know, is it going to set over the river or behind a hill? And then just zooming in a little more, I can then refine the location. Maybe I'm going to stand where I am now on this little jetty, or maybe move slightly along the beach. And I've rolled back the time just before sunset, and you can see the thinner line. So the sun's going to be somewhere in the sky, and if I stand there on the beach it's going to be straight down the middle of the pontoon. That could be a good shot. Photo Pills also has a augmented reality, so if you're at the location you can hold the camera up, the phone up, and you can actually see where the sun is going to be at a particular time. Sorry about the light, it's not that great, but best I can do. So what about the tides? I use Magic Seaweed, which is a great app for surfers, but also it can tell a photographer an awful lot about the tides, the height, and the wind conditions. So I'm looking forward to Thursday when I think I'm going to be there. I'm just looking at the high and low tides, and as you can see, the high tide is just slightly before sunset, which is great. And then, just in case, I'm checking a few other days this evening, or this week should I say, just to see if there's a better time to be there. As you can see, depending on what day, the tides move quite a bit. And lastly, let's check the weather. I've said I'm going to be there on Thursday, so what's the Met Office say Thursday's going to look like? Wall-to-wall sunshine. Well, we'll see, shall we? A little bit of wind, so that might be a problem with the water. But let's see what Thursday brings, shall we? Well, best laid plans and all that. As you can probably tell by the change in weather and the change in attire, it's now Easter weekend. About 2 weeks on from my planned sunset shoot. Things just didn't go to plan. Unfortunately, the weather was pretty poor that day, plus I was suffering from a bit of man flu, so I had to postpone it. Anyway, I've come out for a walk from Brixham to Galmpton with my other half, just for a picnic, and what a lovely sunny day. The tide's out on the River Dart behind me, so I'm just going to sit quietly and see what photos I can take. Well, as always, let's see what we can find. So, as it was so bright, I decided the best option was to go for black and white. So along the beach, I was just looking for contrasts, some leading lines, and then just trying to compose some shots like this one. It was never going to be a really good day for photography, but this seemed to work best. This next one, perhaps not quite as good. There's not such a leading line, but I'm trying to take your eye along the beach to the house in the distance and then just balance the shot. This one works much better with this large log piece of driftwood leading along towards the right, and then the beach back to the left. Alison sat in the middle of the shot. Really nice. And then something just simple and abstract like this, looking at this small tender beached as the tide was out. Nice silhouette shot. Well, this is definitely one of those days where it's far too bright for any good photography. But this is a little beach I haven't been to before, just along from the creek. So I'm going to have a scout around and see what I can find. And maybe take some reference shots for another day. Well, this is just one of those old boats that's crying out for a photograph. Just need to find the right angle and then come back maybe at sunset. Hello matey, are you trying to catch that bird? That wagtail needs to look out. There were lots of different angles on this boat I could get, but I thought this worked best, just showing almost like the skeletal remains of it. And in black and white I think it works really well. I don't think I could have got a great shot along the beach without any decent light. So on the way back we passed the creek and the pontoon that I was going to photograph at the beginning of the video, with the sun setting behind it. So although the light was harsh and the pontoon was beached, I thought I had to complete the video like this. Well, I think that's it for today. If you like the video, subscribe to the channel and give me a like, and hopefully I'll see you again next week. But for today it's far too bright, and I'm now looking forward to the 5-mile walk home in the blazing sun. For now, cheerio. Well, it had to be done. Cheers. And it was going to be a surprising walk home, as you'll see.